Great. Now you have your container, which everything from here goes inside the container. You want to make sure everything, every div you make sits inside this container. The first step in making sure that happens is you want to go to Edit, Preferences, AP Elements, third one down, and check on Nest when created within an AP div. That means the divs will sit inside of each other. And you're going to click OK. So what that means, as we begin to draw other containers, other divs inside the container, you'll see that they'll all sit within these two div tags. Alright? So, first I'm going to draw the first box. You can think of it as a box as the div. So I'm going to draw the first div for the header. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked inside the container. I'm going to do Draw AP Div. The containers insert all the other divs we're going to draw. So I'm going to do Draw AP Div. Just like in Publisher, I'm going to bring my mouse down. I'm going to draw the nice big box. I'm going to select the box corner, and I'm going to give it a name down here. I'm going to call it Header and hit Enter. Great, I've made a box, also known as a div. Whenever you make a div or a box, whatever you want to call it, you'll always need to give it a rule. So over here I'm going to do New CSS Rule. Because it's a div, it's considered a compound. You want to make sure that the header is sitting inside the container. So header, container, click OK. All you really need to worry about is the background color or image, whatever you may have. And then if you want to size it, you can size it from here. I can make it the same width, 800 and say 200 is a good size height. And then positioning. This is important. You want to choose absolute. This way you can move the div around if you would like. You're going to do Apply and OK. So now because I've chose absolute, I can actually move this so it sits nicely. So here is my header. Okay, in here I'm going to write my site title. Okay, most likely I'm going to want to make this centered. So highlight, right click, line, and center. I'm probably going to want to make it bigger because this is my site title. I'm going to want to name it Header 1, which we've learned about in Intro to Web Design. So right now if I choose Format Heading 1, it really has no, I didn't format that. That's the default format. So if I wanted to go in and change the Header 1, I go to Page Properties, Headings, and I'm going to tell Header 1 to be, actually I'm going to make it even bigger. I'm going to do 45, and I want the color to be white. And then I'm going to do Apply and OK. So there is my site title. We'll go over later how to add links in here. Next container I'm going to want to add is my main container where all the text is going. So again, I'm going to make sure I'm clicked inside the container, not inside the header, inside the container. I'm going to do Draw AP Div. Can make it any size for now. You can resize it later. I'm just going to draw it in size. Select it. And this one I'm going to name Main. Hit Enter. Because it's a div or a box, I got to add a rule. New CSS rule. And you want to make sure it's a compound. And again, the main container the main div sits with inside the container div. It's okay. I'll make it a different background color so you can notice the difference. And then we're going to want to change position to absolute so I can move it around. And here's my main container. Inside this container, this is where I will put my main text. And we're going to want to format this. So for now, because it's my main text, I'm going to highlight it. And under Format, I'm going to choose Paragraph, which I set up in my properties. So I actually decided I want to change that. So instead of my text color being blue, I'll make it yellow. And I'd like to make the size a little bit bigger, so I'll make it 24, Apply, and OK. Last thing I'm going to do is do the last container for my footer. So we're going to make sure I'm clicked inside the container, draw AP Div, draw my box, select it, name it, footer, give it some rules. It's a compound. The footer, make sure it sits inside the container. OK. Background, just so you can notice the difference, I'll make it a crazy color. And positioning, I'm going to make it absolute so I can pick it up and move it around. I can move it, and I can also stretch it from side to side. And here is my footer. Then when you're done, you're going to go to File, Save As, and it's going to save it as an HTML document. In the next few videos, I'll teach you how to set up containers within containers, move it around, insert images, as well as creating new classes, which is styling your font and making your own class. So try this out yourself, and good luck.